Fluke Connect, how wireless is changing the game. My name is Jason Tilges from Transcat, and I'll be your moderator today. With me on the call is Paul Twite, Operations and Energy Services Manager at Delano Municipal Utilities. After a 20-year career in building construction, Paul joined the utility industry in 2008 as Manager of Operations for Delano, an electric, water, and wastewater utility servicing 6,000 customers. Paul is responsible for the day-to-day operations of energy production at a small power plant located in central Minnesota. Parts of these operations require constant maintenance and data collection on utility equipment, which is useful in predicting life expectancies or spotting potential problems before they start. Predictive maintenance operations have become a key skill in managing capacity of water and electric production. Paul's presentation will speak to how Fluke Connect can help address many of the issues he is confronted with on a basis. Paul, do you have anything to add on your background?
Yeah, the only thing I would add to that, and thank you for that intro, the only thing I would add is that, I'm not just a Fluke presenter, but I'm an actual day-to-day tool user. I think I personally own at least one of each tool in each of the different product families. Starting 25 years ago as a humble electrician, working in the trades, then along came Y2K. I hope people are laughing when they hear that. Suddenly, power quality and infrared became huge deals. The first infrared cameras were big and bulky, and the pictures were ugly. Well, now just the opposite is true of all that. We've come a long way. So in my day-to-day operations, I use infrared, power quality ground testing. I use ultrasonic and vibration. I do a lot of shaft alignments. And sometimes I do this, well, usually I do this on a monthly, but sometimes on a daily basis in our power plant. The other interesting fact, the thing that's changed is we now report to Homeland Security, and they actually monitor and they audit our reporting procedures, our maintenance records, and all that kind of stuff. So they inspect us all the time. They're watching pretty closely. So I guess the point is, I'm an honest-to-goodness tool user. I'm not just a salesperson. No offense to anybody.
All right, thanks, Paul. Today we'll spend the first part of our time in presentation, and we'll end the call answering your questions. At any time, you can send questions through the question box to the right in your webinar controls. I also want to mention that this webinar is being recorded. Each of you will receive a follow-up email with a link to the recorded webinar and the slides of today's presentation. Okay, at this time I'm going to turn this back over to Paul for the presentation.
Okay, well again, good afternoon. I want to thank everyone. I know everyone's busy, so I want to honor that. I'm going to try to keep this to about 30 minutes. Looks like a few more people are joining in, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're going to talk about this Fluke Connect, and it's a combination of software. It's an application, and it's also firmware embedded in new tools being released, which have this wireless platform in them. Doesn't sound like much, but it's actually a very new twist, and it has the potential of kind of being a game changer in the way that we document our maintenance routines. So I'm not going to read you this presentation. Sorry to disappoint you. It's not story time here. If you want to read it for yourself, you'll download it and you'll take it from there. So just a little bit about Fluke. So late 1940s, post-World War II, there is actually a guy out there by the name of John Fluke. And he partnered with his roommates, who was another guy that you may have heard of, David Packard, went on to form Hewlett-Packard. But these two guys together formed the John Fluke Manufacturing Company. About I think it was 1951, 1952. They released kind of their first analog version of voltmeters and ammeters. Now remember, this is 70 years ago. And as you can see by the picture in front of you, Fluke has kind of grown into, I would consider them to be kind of the global leader of industrial test products. It's everything from digital multimeters, scopes, resistance and ground testers, infrared cameras, and most recently now we're talking vibration analyzers, We're talking laser alignment tools. There's a lot of new stuff coming. I tell people the new innovations just kind of keep rolling off the line. Everything's manufactured in Everett, Washington. And it doesn't appear that they have any intention of slowing down. So what is this Fluke Connect? Well, in a nutshell, technically, it's wireless communication protocol. It's an application, or an app, as the kids call it. But more importantly, it automatically saves the readings. Whatever data is displayed on your tools, it sends those to your phone, your smartphone. And then from there, it sends it automatically to a database. So it also builds really good looking reports. And it also, this is kind of a big deal, it allows you to share your screen readings in real time. So whatever you're looking at, you can share it with anyone. You can share it wherever they are in the world. So just about everything we own or operate now includes some kind of smart technology, especially communication. So, you know, we live in smart houses, we've got smart meters, we're connected to smart grids, we drive smart cars, and I'm guessing some of you may be joining me on your smartphone. Well, so now it's time for smart tools. So I've been telling people now you can finally ditch the download cables. So let's take a look at Fluke Connect, kind of an overview, and then we'll jump into more detail. But from an overview perspective, there's 5 main components. So the first component is called Share Live, and it's just what it says. You can share your screen remotely. So if you see something, and again, I apologize for the small pictures. We're gonna show you bigger pictures later on here. But you know, if you're looking at something and you're unsure of what you're looking at, or you need to get permission to disconnect something, you can share that screen right from your tool automatically. The next component is Trendit. It's a graphing app, and it automatically creates trend data. And you can do this from several tools, up to 11 different tools. So it automatically records trends. Another component is called AutoRecord. And again, as it sounds, it automatically saves the data. Whatever you're seeing on your tool and on your phone, it automatically saves it for download, and it backs it up to the cloud. The equipment log component is basically its history. It's a historic database on your smartphone. So all the reports that you've ever done on this piece of equipment, you've got them for reference right there on your phone. So if you're looking at a motor, you're not sure, you don't remember what it was this time last year, you've got that right there in your equipment log. And then there's the Fluke Cloud. Again, does what it says it does, and it basically automatically backs up all your data online. You don't have to hit send, you don't have to hit record, you don't have to hit OK. It does it all automatically for you. So what does it work with? Which tools? Well, right now it's standard on a little more than 20 different test tools. Could be multimeters, could be amp clamps, could be infrared cameras. We'll go through them all. And actually I have a PDF coming up here in a few slides, and I'll show you all the tools that are compatible with one another. But the list is growing, and every month more tools are being added to this list. And personally, you know, it's a wireless platform, so I think it's, you know, if I were Fluke, I'd be doing this on every tool that ever comes out the door in the future. So stay tuned, more is on the way. So why should you care? So how are you going to benefit from this? So let's say you're a supervisor. Your job is to keep the program, the maintenance program, on track. You got to keep the people busy. You got to make sure they're repairing things correctly, they're reporting accurately. You got to keep this all on budget. And if you do that very well in 1 year, you're rewarded with getting your budget lowered next year. So we want to keep you busy doing all the stuff that you should be busy with. You know, it's going to keep the machines running more effectively by using better data. So we call that uptime. Accuracy is a big deal. I know personally, I've transposed more than 1 or 2 numbers when I've been using Maintelligence or some sort of online database of all my maintenance. This is going to take some of that away from you. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm not a big fan of Microsoft Excel. So let's say, okay, you're not the supervisor. Say you're the lead guy. Well, other people are looking to you for leadership out on the plant floor or out in the trenches, whatever you do. Not only do you have to deal with your duties, your job description, you also got to help the younger, the more experienced people. You've got to kind of nurture them along. So this gives you some credibility. It's a lot more convenient because you can see what somebody else is looking at, and maybe they're 100 feet away or maybe they're 100 miles away. And safety is a huge one here. We'll get into it here in a little bit, but the less time you can spend in the danger zone, the better it is for everybody. Perhaps you're kind of one of the new people just starting. You kind of don't see the whole picture yet, you know. You're kind of looking for others to provide you leadership and support. You want to learn, but you're not ready to be flying solo just yet. You're kind of more comfortable with collaborating or talking to someone, asking their opinion. You want to reach out. You want to share. So kind of regardless of your position in this organization, I think you're going to want to see this Fluke Connect in action and how it can help you. You know, it's only been out for a few months, and we're kind of hearing back from some of our users that are using it. You know, when regarding efficiency, they're saying, you know, it allows you to more effectively collaborate with your coworkers. You know, it allows you to share information easier. Regarding costs, you know, we're cutting your paperwork time. We're cutting your office time. We all know how, I'm hoping there's a lot of maintenance people out there because none of us love paperwork. I got to be honest with you. So this is going to improve your organization a little bit because I'll go back to one of the comments I made. Everything's automatic here. Regarding productivity, you know, you really don't have to wait until you get back to the office to write the report. You'll see combined data from several tools. It could be vibration, it could be thermography, whatever. You're going to see that right there on your phone. So safety, again, can't emphasize safety enough. It means less time in front of energized gear, rotating machinery, other dangerous places. You know, maybe you have to stand on a ladder to access a disconnect, or maybe you're out in a forklift traffic lane, or you're in close proximity to a hot machine or something. You know, we're going to show you in a little bit later some detail on how this improves your safety margins. But so let's dive in just a little bit deeper now. So the first component, again, is called Share Live Video. So this is a little bit better, cleaner picture of it. So you can connect, and remember, you can connect up to 11 different tools at this time. I think the goal is to have 20, but right now it's 11 different tools to your smartphone. And then your smartphone connects you to your world. So your smartphone connects you to your supervisor, maybe it's a coworker, maybe it's your customer. And they'll be seeing exactly what you see at exactly the same time. You don't got to download data, run back, write a report, you know, send off the report, and then wait for someone to tell you what to do about it. This is maximum collaboration. This is not being alone. You can now reach out. You can ask that seasoned vet for help. You know, that person who's been around forever. Maybe you've got to ask somebody for permission, a production manager or something. You want to de-energize or you want to take something offline. Well, you can share those images right now, and it helps you make your case. And that person could be hundreds of miles away, or like I said before, anywhere on Earth, as long as you got cell phone reception. So most importantly, it gives you support. It gets you a quick response from your support team around you. So another component of Fluke Connect is called the equipment log. And basically this is history at your fingertips. You can see equipment readings from now or from records past. It could have been a day ago, could have been a week ago, a year ago. Again, it's all automatically uploaded to the cloud. So you don't have to run back and forth and look at old reports. You know, you're standing at a machine and it's acting funny and you think, this was acting funny about 6 months ago. I wonder, well, now you can see that right on your phone. So again, it's about working together, You know, if you've got a support team, doesn't matter where they're located, and somebody's going to be able to take a look at that. Maybe it's a manufacturer. Maybe you got a warranty issue. Somebody else with a smartphone will be able to look over your shoulder. Another component, it's called Trendit. Again, the names are pretty simple here, no mystery. It automatically creates graphs, or what we call time series charts, time series plots. It just helps you. Sometimes a picture is easier to understand than a bunch of raw numbers scrolling up and down. So this makes an automatic chart. It graphs, it could be temperature or voltage or harmonics, whatever. So you see a picture in front of you, it's a person standing in front of a motor. They hook up their CTs, their PTs, maybe they've got a vibration transducer on there. Well, this allows you now to walk away. Maybe you got to go over to a PLC or a control panel. Maybe it's a variable speed drive. Somewhere else you've got to go and operate this pump. So you're not tethered by a cable here. This is all wireless, and better yet, now maybe the manufacturer, maybe there's someone who manufactured this piece of equipment is watching these same readings. So kind of handy in that respect. How many of you out there like to write reports? I'm guessing not many. I'm including myself in this, so let's face it, not many of us do. So the next component is called AutoRecord, and basically it enters the data and it creates reports for you, and you're not really sitting behind your computer. Again, it's doing a lot of this automatically. I'd rather be out in the field collecting data than sitting writing a report. So it helps you create these equipment records and share them right on the spot. You know, let's say someone asks you about a piece of equipment, and you go out, hook up your instruments, whatever they are, and now you can send those readings direct to that person that asked about it. Maybe it's a printing press, or who knows what it is. But the other thing about it is, again, you're going to have all of your maintenance data from day one. Whenever you started using Fluke Connect, it's going to stay there. So you'll be able to file, you'll refer back to it. You'll be able to kind of go through it and file through it and see what it did a day ago, a month ago. You'll be able to correlate those with maybe production data, or maybe the utility had an outage or something. But the goal here is to retire the clipboard and kind of say goodbye to manual data entry. A little bit ago, I told you I was going to talk a little bit about safety. Especially in the utility world, safety is pounded into us from the minute we show up to the minute we leave. The less time that you're in the danger zone, the better it is for everybody. You, your boss, your insurance company, everybody. So you're actually going to increase your safety margins, and you're going to have a couple more options for troubleshooting because of this wireless connectivity. So you're going to be able to display, record live readings of, let's say you've got an energized circuit open, or you're operating some kind of scary piece of machinery. You'll be able to de-energize it. You'll install your tools, whether it be voltage or current or whatever, look at it with an infrared camera, and then re-energize the equipment and start recording data, and now you're out of the danger zone. You're safe. And you can do this, especially the new IR cameras, the infrared cameras, you can record infrared video as well. And you can correlate all these different measurements. Right now, again, it's up to 11 tools. So say it's thermal imaging temperature, and it's current and voltage, maybe it's harmonics, THD, maybe it's vibration, acceleration, whatever. You can correlate all this data, and it all displays in one screen, and best off, it's automatically saved while you're standing there. So you don't have to be writing numbers down. So, and another big thing is others can share in this and watch it with you. So this slide talks about this kind of being a new layer of capability, but I'd say it's more of a game changer, especially in the way that I write reports, in the way that I document. Because I'll be honest with everybody, I'm a clipboard guy. I'm an old dinosaur. I show up on a job site or I walk around a power plant, I'm sorry, and I'm naked without a clipboard. So I'm still trying to get used to this myself. Currently right now there's about 20 different predefined kits available as well. They're designed for specific applications like HVAC, industrial maintenance, maybe you're an electrician like I am. So these kits are made up of really commonly paired instruments, and they pair them by trade or by your profession. And I think the big thing here is right now this Fluke Connect gets the world's largest wireless network for test and measurement tools. Nobody else has this. And as I mentioned before, more tools are being released with this. So imagine being able to overlay vibration alignment data. I do a lot of shaft alignment, power quality. I mean, that's just a sweet looking report when you have all that information right there in front of you. Helps you to make some really smart decisions in the field. So let's talk about how you get this. So this application is currently available on the iTunes website for the iPhone users out there. And you have to go to the Google Play for the Android phone users. The app is totally free. There's no cost to it. It's very simple to download. You can install this and connect it. You know, if you can download and play Angry Birds on your cell phone, you can easily do Fluke Connect. So I got to be honest with you though, more emphasis has been placed in getting the iTunes app released before the Android app, because iTunes, from what I'm told, is a more complicated marketplace and it takes up more development resources. So the iTunes is full-blown 100% ready to go. The Android is somewhat limited. It's only limited to work with a couple of different tools. We're going to talk about that on that chart. But the full version of the Android app will be due here just in a few days. They're talking mid-October at the latest. So again, I'm sure those of you with smartphones have downloaded all sorts of fun and entertaining apps, and this one's going to be no different. It's very intuitive to use. So earlier I mentioned that I'd show you a chart, kind of compatibility of all the current tools that are out there. So it's a PDF file, and it's currently available on the Fluke website. So just go to your browser, type in Fluke Connect, and it'll bring you to the Fluke Connect website, and this is on here. This is an interactive PDF. You click on, you know, whatever module. Let's say it's an AC current clamp, or maybe it's an infrared camera, TI-400 or whatever. You'd click on that product, and then it would show you all the other components, all the other tools that work with it wirelessly. And this thing is updated, from what I'm told, they're updating it twice a month. So it should be pretty current. So you know what? Everybody's squeezed pretty hard for time these days. You know, I don't know of anyone that has more time on their hands than they need. If you do, congratulations. But I myself, I'm used to sitting down after the fact, writing my reports. So I got a cup of coffee, sometimes the phone's ringing, sometimes there's other distractions that prevents me from getting it done in a timely fashion. Well, this Fluke Connect gives me real-time reporting, trending, and it automatically logs everything that I'm looking at. I've not used, personally, I've not used every module yet. That's my goal. But the ones, I'm a TI-400 user, and I do a lot with the current clamps and the voltage, and then I also incorporate a lot of vibration into my motors and pumps. So the big deal here is safety. I can't emphasize that enough. I'm going to connect it, and I'm going to back away from a safe distance, and then I'm just going to let it automatically record. It's going to have all these different predictive maintenance parameters. And again, safety is being a really big issue here. So that puts us right at about 30 minutes. I'm going to ask Jason to kind of jump back in here and see if we've had any questions.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. That was excellent. This concludes our presentation portion of the webinar. And before we get into the Q&A, I just want to let everybody know that we're running a couple Fluke promotions that may be of interest to you. Now through the end of 2014, if you were to purchase a new Fluke 754, you can also receive a free pressure module with your purchase. If you happen to trade in your old Fluke 744, you can also grab a second pressure module or a clamp meter for free. Also, there's a gift with purchase program that qualifies you for a range of free gifts when you spend over $250 on Fluke products. The gifts include tools, accessories, even stuff like iPads and jackets. So just wanted to mention that. I'll send the details of these promos out to everyone who registered for today's presentation. And if you have any questions about these promos or any other Fluke products, please feel free to contact our Fluke sales specialist, Melissa Hill, at 800-828-1470, the extension 3446, or at mhill@transcat.com. You can also contact Transcat generally at any time at 800-828-1470, or email us at sales@transcat.com. So we're now going to move into the Q&A session. And just as a reminder, if you'd like to ask a question, please send it through the question box in your webinar controls. It should be to the right in your dialog box. So I'll wait for a couple of those to come in. Actually, let's move on to our first question now. So how many Fluke instruments can connect to the app at one time? How many readings can I see simultaneously?
So as I talked about real briefly in the presentation, so right now, I mean, the goal is to have 20 instruments displayed. That's a lot. I mean, that's more balls than I can keep up in the air, but right now you're limited to 11. So 10 of them would be through Bluetooth. It's not Bluetooth, it's Bluetooth LE, low energy. But right now 10 of them would come through Bluetooth, and then the infrared cameras have Wi-Fi, so they have 802-11. So you have up to 11 different instruments, each being displayed on one screen.
Great, thank you. Okay, second question here. Can you log the location and tag number of the unit under test so you know exactly where the measurement was taken?
You know, right now, what you would do with your infrared camera, so probably what they're referring to is barcode or or geotagging, things like that. The infrared cameras have GPS and have geotagging capabilities, and then they also have visible annotations, which is basically a digital camera. So you would actually, if you didn't have the barcode or if you didn't have the geotagging turned on or didn't have that capability in your equipment, you basically would take a picture of the equipment, a visible light picture of the equipment with the infrared camera if you have it. And then if you don't, you know, if you're just using a couple of different, maybe doing vibration and voltage or something, then you're still limited to, you'd have to write things down. Then don't lose your clipboard just yet.
Okay, great. Thanks, Paul. Couple questions here. Will it increase my data usage or my battery usage?
That's a very good question. I have the very same question. So that's kind of up to the user. So let's do data usage first. So you see in front of you a picture of your smartphone. If you're using your personal smartphone and you have a limited data plan, what I would do is turn it in airplane mode. The only time you're using your carrier's, you're using data over your carrier's bandwidth is when you're uploading to the cloud. When you're talking to the tool, or when, let's say you have an infrared camera and you're looking at it with your smartphone, that uses no minutes. You're using no data for that. That's just pure Bluetooth low energy between there. But it's when it's syncing it to the cloud. That's when you will be using data minutes out of your plan. If you have a company phone, maybe you don't care then, maybe you have unlimited, so you're okay there. But that's something that the user has control of. So if you're not sure, put your smartphone into what's called airplane mode, and that blocks your signal from talking with the cloud. And then as far as battery goes, this Bluetooth low energy is no different than using like a wireless Bluetooth headset, or if you were to connect to a wireless Bluetooth printer or some other peripheral, it uses no more battery life than that. So I personally, I have an Android phone. I just left the iPhone 4 to go to a Samsung phone, and no plugs for any vendors, please, but I've noticed absolutely zero difference in battery time.
Thanks. Great question there. Next question, can you control the functions of the meter and not just record data?
That will be coming, yes. There's going to be a module coming out that's it's a wireless module. It'll be on that PDF file that I showed you, and it will allow you remote control of your infrared camera. Let's say you have a 3-phase power quality logger. Let's say it's a Fluke 435, 434, one of those two. You'll have remote control capability with that. But if you're talking just a digital multimeter, an amp clamp, something like that, nope, you're still going to have to spin the rotary dial.
Okay, excellent. Will it work with products like GaugePack?
I'd love to answer it, but I don't know what GaugePack is.
Okay. Hopefully, if the attendee is still listening, he can elaborate on that. Sorry, we don't have an answer for you right away. I'm going to move on to the next question, and if we do get a follow-up on that, we'll try to address it as best we can.
Mm-hmm.
Does everyone in the department have to have their own login for the app? Do you have to call someone and tell them to log on to the app, or does it send them an alert that you were looking for their attention on something?
So that's a dynamite question. So whoever does the initial download of the application and sets up the cloud, and again, we've all heard, I'm guessing we've all heard horror stories about the cloud, so don't post any inappropriate pictures, but whoever sets that up, excuse me, they'll be the ones giving permissions, and I'm guessing this is probably going to be your IT people or tech support people in your company, but they'll be the ones setting up the user accounts, who can upload to the cloud, who can download from the cloud, who can access this data on the cloud. And then, yes, you can set up automatic alerts so that if you, I don't know, you work for a big automotive company and you've got 5 different manufacturing plants, you're babysitter for a staff of 30 maintenance people. You can set it up so that, yep, these 30 can send you text alerts through, but you got to have the app on your phone. So I'm hoping that answered the question.
Okay, great. And we do have a follow-up on the question about GaugePack. GaugePack is a calibration program that we store our readings for compliance, etc.
Okay, I don't have personal experience with that, and I've not seen that on any of the compatibility charts yet, so I'm going to say no. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. And I will follow up on that if there's any elaboration that we can provide. Okay, looks like we've got time for at least one more. Do industrial environments interfere with communications between the modules and the app?
Ooh, another very good, challenging question. So, because that was my first question when they said, yeah, ditch the download cable. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. So I'm generally working in electric switch yards, overhead distribution, power plants, could be a hydro plant, could be coal, could be nuclear plant. RF is a big deal, so interference. So I worry a lot about Bluetooth. That's why they actually have gone to this Bluetooth low energy, because that makes it, radio frequency is no longer an issue at that frequency. The Wi-Fi, so if you have a TI-400 or an infrared camera with the Wi-Fi turned on, there could be some susceptibility to a little bit of interference, but you're going to see that right away. So you're going to know that, hey, I've got voltage, let's say I got some current clamps and some PTs connected, and you're seeing some funny numbers in and out. You'll know you have an interference issue. Or this in my world, where this happens is if I'm standing next to a variable speed drive. Those things are just absolutely nightmares for radio frequency interference. So get away from the VFD if you can. But no, the Bluetooth low energy, the frequency of that is such that 50 to 60 hertz noise doesn't affect it at all.
Great, thanks, Paul. Well, that concludes our time for today. If anyone has any further questions or would like to find out more about Transcat's products or service offerings, please contact us at 800-828-1470 on the web at transcat.com or email us at sales@transcat.com. Thank you all for joining us today. We hope you found the information to be helpful, useful, and applicable to your processes and jobs. Have a great week, and thank you for attending.